Welcome back to Love English. So today I'm going to be going through some travel phrasal verbs, essential travel phrasal verbs, covering some of the more basic and some of the more advanced. Now, as you can see, I am in fact on holiday in, if you haven't guessed it already, Rome. So this seems to be the most appropriate place to go through those travel phrasal verbs with you. So starting with some of the more basic, now I'm sure many of you already know the phrasal verb to take off when we are referring to an aeroplane leaving. So the plane took off. What time does the plane take off? That's a nice simple one. Now it's less common, we usually say land, but you can say touchdown. This is perhaps more frequently used in America. I would say that the Brits don't really use this phrasal verb too much. But when you say the plane has touched down, you would say it's landed. But again, not so common. Right, one of the most common phrasal verbs, to get away. This is both a phrasal verb and it can be used as a noun. I need a getaway. So to get away literally means to escape your normal life, working days, and have a holiday. You might even say, I really need to get away, meaning I really need a holiday. Now, a more advanced phrasal verb would be to set off. You could also say set out. So if you set off, you literally start your journey. You begin your travels. So you might say to somebody, what time are you setting off? What time are you leaving for your trip? Now another phrasal verb with off is to see off, and this I'm sure has happened to you if you've been traveling. Usually your parents will see you off. And this literally means that they take you to the airport, the train station, the bus station, and they wave goodbye and see you on your way. So to see somebody off, usually a very nice thing to do. On the opposite side, you would have pick up. So pick up means to collect, to take somebody from one place to another. And in this case, you might have your parents picking you up from the airport, meeting you there to collect you and take you home. So to pick up. Now, in a similar way, we can also have drop off. So you can drop off your bags at the check-in at the airport, but you can also drop somebody off at the airport. So pick up and drop off. Now, drop off just implies that you're left there. When you see somebody off, you're waving goodbye and making sure that they are okay and that they've got their plane okay. So to drop somebody off, to pick somebody up, and to see someone off. Now, check. Check in and check out. Very important phrasal verbs for you. Pretty basic, but you need to know them. To check in, both at a hotel and of course an airport, is to register, to give your details, to confirm that you are taking that flight or indeed that you are registering to stay in the hotel for that night. So to check in. To check out, not something you do at an airport, but it is, of course, at a hotel. When you check out of a hotel, you would pay any extras that you've had from the minibar and confirm that you have left. Usually checkout time's quite early as well, about 11. So when you see that, what the checkout time is, you know that that's the time you need to leave the hotel. So check in, check out. When we talk generally about arriving, what time did you get there, we would say turn up. So what time did he turn up? Now, when it comes to traveling, we usually refer to the transportation that we are taking. And in this case, we'd be using get in. What time does your train get in? Meaning, what time does your train arrive? You wouldn't say, what time does your train turn up? You can also use it for flights. What time does your flight get in? What time does your flight arrive? Now, unfortunately, travel doesn't always go to plan and there are often many delays. In this case, we also have a phrasal verb. You can be held up. So my train was held up at another station. My flight was delayed. I was held up because my flight was delayed. So to hold up or to be held up in the passive form means that you have been delayed. Now, referring to transportation, when we travel, we often use public transportation. And this is an important point to note. The prepositions in and on, off and out, are used when we are referring to public and private transportation. So when you are getting public transportation, you get on a plane, you get on the train, you get on a bus, you get on a coach. These are public transportation. However, when you are using private, you get in a car, you get in a taxi. A taxi is a form of private transportation. But you would get out of a taxi and you would get off a plane. So get in, private transportation, get off, public transportation. Right now, we don't always have the luxury of going directly to our destination, nor do we always want it. Sometimes we do actually want to have a detour, stop over. So to stop over, to have a stopover, noun or phrasal verb, is to basically have a detour, to stop somewhere. So you might stop over if you have a particularly long flight. So, for example, if you're traveling from England to Australia, you often have a stopover in somewhere like Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong. Similarly, we can also call this a layover. So when the flight is stopped at one airport while you wait to refuel or indeed get another flight. So you have stopover and layover. Right, that's it. I hope those phrasal verbs will prove useful. Try writing some sentences in the comment box below. Remember, practice makes perfect, and you'll only learn these verbs if you use them. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, or indeed find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, Snapchat. Thank you for watching. Ciao from Rome.